Hello and welcome to Frank's School, 7th year, 118th day, second video of more. There'll be at least one more. And what I'm doing now is I'm doing my State of the School, my annual State of the School presentation. This is looking back at the year 2020. It's now the year 2021. Here are some things to mention that happened during the year. FFF, that stands globally, it stands for Fridays for Future. This is the movement that Greta Thunberg, the Swedish, she's 18-year-old girl now, has produced. I participated in that to a large extent at the beginning of the year. Every Friday I would go in and for a while, in the local town, I would sit and braid, just do nothing but sit there and braid. I called it braiding for climate. Sort of as a way of showing that you can be productive, you can actually do something that is not destructive to the environment. I stopped doing that eventually, partly because of COVID. Once COVID had appeared, it was a bigger issue. That FFF, though, could also stand, in my mind, for fossil fuel free farming, FFF farming. It sounds almost like a spoof of someone stuttering. But anyway, that's a way of explaining why my efforts seem to be so, I don't want to say hopeless, but just so different from what a modern manicured farm or garden or suburban plot looks like. Well, if you take fossil fuels away, completely away, and you try to farm or garden fossil fuel free, that goes way beyond organic gardening. And, that's what I've been doing. And I've found that pigs are a real critical part of actually making that possible. I argued earlier that with opaque plastic, white on one side, black on the other, I used the term extreme mulching. And you could research that if you wanted to on my YouTube channel. But anyway, that has been one of the things that I've learned and I've been occupied with. Now, a man named Matthew Zubek, he and I produced the book, how did I name it? Building folk huts with pallets. Anyway, that's online. He has finished with school, sustainability studies major. He's finished. He's now living in the area. He has a friend, a girlfriend, who's from San Diego, Audrey. They're both around 22 years old. He's been, in a sense, an apprentice of mine for maybe 4 years. She, only recently, but she is an apprentice along with me and my neighbor, who's a wonderful blacksmith. She is learning to be a blacksmith. And their arrival has made a real big difference. Here's an example of two young people, don't yet have families, not married. He has some college debt, and what are they going to do with their future? And here they are in this area. So they've been a major factor. But along with them, I've realized that I've kind of hit a high water mark in what I alone can do with this land, the Camp Branch campus of, which is what this is about, of Frank's School. I can only go so far. And I'm to the point where about 45 folk huts, building folk huts with pallets, a new vernacular architecture, I think is the whole name of that. About 45 folk huts have been located where they would be, and in a sense have been started. But I'm not going to be doing them, not until others come. Now it's possible that these two may within a month or so start to build one or two folk huts for themselves, possibly. But instead, I am now turning my attention to the infrastructure of this village. Things that would serve all of those people that would, if they would come and want to set up their folk huts, the infrastructure. And there is lots to do. And I alone can, that's already more than I can keep up with. The first Bloom Day came and passed, April 1st, 2020. I've called it Bloom Day because at that point, I stopped worrying about having things look horrible on purpose for the sake of a movie and decided, okay, now I've got to start actually making things look better. And now it came and passed without this movie being done. The movie Hope, which came out of my idea for a movie called Resurrection. The two are related. If you were to research them, there's way more than you would want. But it was a close call. When the day came and went, it almost came back because a local photographer, a woman named Marlena, thought about being the director of such a movie until she realized what an enormous job it would be. And another thing I would say about this idea of hope, in a way, I mind waiting because I think the need is so urgent, but people still are not hopeless enough that they are so desperate to look for hope. This movie that I imagine would offer hope. And I think of the movie Our Daily Bread, made in about 1933 or something like that. And in the Great Depression, 2 or 3 years had passed, and people were really quite hopeless. That movie then that came along that offered some kind of hope showed up. And then finally, I guess I'd just say that I have found an enormous amount of material, wood, pallets, which I can, no, not pallets, pallet slats. They're like about a ½ inch thick, about 40 inches long, and about 6 inches wide. I can get them for almost nothing by pickup truckloads, and I have hauled many and many of them, and they are available for material. All right, I'm going to come back one more time. Bye for now.